The world's balance of power is in flux. America's era of unrivaled dominance is fading, and fresh power centers are stepping onto the stage. You can see this transformation in economics, politics, and technology. Alliances are being reimagined, and new rivalries are taking shape. The United States is still a global heavyweight, but its influence isn't what it once was. Europe is stepping up, working to unify its economic and political power. At the same time, Canada is broadening its horizons, seeking new partners and lessening its dependence on the US. This shifting global scene is packed with both risks and opportunities. For America, it's a call to rethink its approach to the world. Europe, meanwhile, must overcome its own internal rifts to wield real influence. And for Canada, there's a real shot at forging a more independent global identity. The coming years will be shaped by this dramatic shift in power. How these key players respond will ultimately decide the next chapter of the global order. Tesla is facing serious headwinds in Europe, with its market share declining in key countries like Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Labor disputes over wages and working conditions have led to production delays and negative publicity. Elon Musk's actions, especially since acquiring Twitter, have alienated some European consumers. Meanwhile, established European automakers are launching new electric models, making competition even tougher. To succeed, Tesla must adapt to local market dynamics and rebuild trust with European consumers. As Tesla stumbles, European automakers are really seizing the opportunity in the electric vehicle market. Brands like Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, and BMW are rapidly expanding their EV offerings. They're investing heavily in new technologies and production facilities, which is pretty impressive. European governments are also supporting the transition to electric mobility by offering incentives for consumers to purchase EVs and investing in charging infrastructure. This supportive environment is helping European automakers gain ground in the EV race. The strength of European brands comes from their reputation for quality, performance, and innovation. European automakers have a long history of producing high-quality vehicles, and they're also known for their engineering prowess and technological advancements. The rise of European automakers in the EV market has some significant implications for the global automotive industry. It signals a shift in the balance of power from Silicon Valley to traditional automotive powerhouses. European companies are, honestly, well positioned to become leaders in this new era of electric mobility. Canada is increasingly looking to diversify its partnerships and reduce its reliance on the United States. This shift is pretty clear in its defense procurement strategy and trade policy. Canada is seeking closer ties with Europe as part of this diversification effort. In the defense sector, Canada has traditionally relied heavily on the US for equipment and technology. But the Canadian government has recently announced plans to purchase fighter jets and other military hardware from European suppliers. This move really reflects a desire to reduce dependence on a single supplier and to strengthen ties with European allies. On the trade front, Canada is deepening its economic relationship with the European Union. The Canada-EU Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, which entered into force in 2017, has eliminated tariffs on most goods traded between Canada and the EU. It's also opened up new markets for Canadian businesses in Europe. Canada's pivot towards Europe is driven by a number of factors, including concerns about US protectionism, a desire to strengthen its position in a multipolar world, and a belief that closer ties with Europe are in Canada's national interest. The relationship between the United States and the European Union has become, increasingly strained in recent years. Trade disputes have really been a major source of tension. The Trump administration imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from the EU, which prompted retaliatory tariffs from Brussels. Now the Biden administration has taken a less confrontational approach to trade with Europe, but honestly, underlying disagreements remain. The two sides have clashed over issues such as digital taxes, aircraft subsidies, and data privacy. The rise of China as an economic and technological powerhouse has also added to transatlantic tensions. Both the US and the EU are grappling with how to respond to China's growing assertiveness. And, there are differences of opinion on the best approach to take. The US and the EU share common values and interests, but they are also competitors in the global economy. Managing this complex relationship will be a major challenge in the years to come. The US-Japan trade relationship has also experienced turbulence in recent years. The Trump administration imposed tariffs on Japanese steel and aluminum imports. and even threatened to target Japanese automobiles. Japan retaliated with tariffs of its own. The trade war between the two countries has had significant economic consequences. It has disrupted supply chains, raised prices for consumers, and hurt businesses on both sides of the Pacific. The dispute has also strained the long-standing security alliance between the US and Japan. Japan has responded to US pressure by diversifying its economic relationships. It has concluded trade agreements with the European Union and other countries. Japan has also reduced its holdings of US Treasury securities, a move seen as a sign of its diminishing confidence in the US economy. The US-Japan trade war is really a symptom of the broader shift in the global balance of power. As the US becomes more inward-looking, its allies are seeking to reduce their dependence on the US and forge new partnerships. This trend has profound implications for the future of the global economy and the international order. The close energy relationship between Canada and the United States has long been a pillar of their bilateral ties. Canada is a major supplier of oil and natural gas to the US. However, this relationship is facing growing strains. The Biden administration has canceled the Keystone XL pipeline project, which would have transported Canadian oil to the US. The administration has also implemented policies aimed at reducing US dependence on fossil fuels. These moves have angered Canadian officials and raised concerns about the future of Canada-US energy cooperation. Some analysts warn that energy could become a source of conflict between Canada and the US. If Canada were to restrict oil exports to the US, it could have a significant impact on the US economy. Conversely, the US could retaliate with tariffs or other measures. A Canada-US energy conflict would be damaging to both countries. It would hurt their economies, undermine their energy security, and strain their close relationship. Both sides have an interest in finding ways to manage their energy relationship constructively. The global power shift is making the world more unpredictable. Old alliances are being tested and new rivalries are emerging. The US faces challenges to its leadership with its dominance waning and politics polarized. Europe is seeking more independence but remains divided on key issues. Canada is diversifying partnerships and tackling global challenges. The choices these nations make will shape the future global order. The world is watching,